This video is part of a series helping you to develop effective revision techniques as you prepare for your exams. Today we're looking at how to use flashcards as part of your revision. Lots of people swear by flashcards, including me, but what makes them such a great revision tool? Well, firstly, because they're small, that helps you to break the topic apart into manageable chunks, rather than letting it get overwhelming. Making the flashcards in the first place is a good way of summarising a topic, because you can't fit 95 pieces of information on one A6 piece of card. Because the different facts are split up onto different cards, it's much easier to keep track of what you do and don't know compared to if you have all of your revision on one sheet of paper. Having flashcards makes it much easier for friends or family to test you, and that can make the revision process a bit more fun and also force you to do it properly because you have an audience and they're going to know if you try and cheat. Flashcards are easier to carry around in your pocket, so you can do a quick 10-minute check whenever you have some free time, if you're waiting for the bus or something. And finally, flashcards are one of the few revision tools that you can buy ready-made. This is handy because it can be a big time saver and you're not having to make sure that you've got a reliable source of information when you make them, but do bear in mind that making those flashcards is a really effective revision strategy too, and you don't get that benefit if you just buy them from CGP or whoever. For me, there are two main types of flashcards. I like to have double-sided flashcards with the question or the prompt on the back, because that means that if there's no one there to help test me, then I can look at the prompt or look at the question without accidentally sneaking a peek at the answer while I'm doing it. So you have flashcards where you just have a general topic on one side and then all of the key facts that you need to remember on the other side. And then the alternative is that you have one specific question and then the answer to that question on the back. In both cases, it's really important that we're limiting the amount of information on the back of the card. You don't want to have a whole essay there. The point of flashcards is that you can use them in a flash, so they need to be readable at a glance. You want to include keywords or short statements in quite large writing, and try to limit yourself to 6 lines, even if you're summarising a complex concept. If it's something that you can't fit into that few lines, then maybe a flashcard isn't the best revision tool to be using right now. If you're writing more than just one sentence, then try to include bullet points because this is going to make it easier to read quickly. Now you've made the flashcards, you're ready to use them. Obviously, you're going to read the prompt or read the question and then have a go at answering it. But there are a few traps that people fall into. The first one is reading the question and then straight away just reading the answer. Retrieval practice works because we strengthen memories when we try to remember them. If you just cheat and read the answer, then you give yourself a false sense of security without actually doing anything to strengthen the memory. If you're struggling to remember what's on the cards, reduce the number right down so that you're just practicing with a handful and then build it up from there. The second mistake is kind of mumbling an answer in your head without putting it into a sentence or fully articulating it. And this is how we end up saying, oh, I know the answer, but I can't answer the question. Practice saying your answer out loud, or if you don't have a private space and you find it kind of embarrassing to do that in front of other people, then write down your answer before you check it. The third mistake is accepting a sloppy answer from yourself. If you made the cards by looking at the specification, then that is the best wording, so practice until you can use those exact words. The final mistake is that people try to use too many cards that they don't know the answers to all at once. Your revision is going to work best when you have quite a high success rate. So if you're struggling, reduce the number of cards until you're getting them mostly right, and then add some back in. Finally, we said at the start that one of the best things about flashcards is that it allows you to split up the topic into parts that you know better and things that you know less well. And one really effective way to use this is to use something called the Leitner system. So basically this involves you having a series of boxes. So you start off with all of your cards in the first box and you're going to look at them every day. And then each time that you get a question right, you put it into the second box. So that now becomes things that you only look at every other day. And then if you get it right again, then you could maybe move on to only looking at that stuff once a week. But each time that you get a question wrong, it goes back to that first box. So this means that the topics that you're less confident with, you're revisiting really, really regularly, whereas things that you're fairly confident on, you're going back to less frequently. So to summarise, flashcards are great because they allow you to break a topic down into bite-sized pieces. You want to keep them brief and bold when you're writing them, so a maximum of 6 lines and using large text. Try to verbalise your answer, or if that's not an option, then write it down instead. But either way, make sure that you are actually answering the question and not just kind of picking out a few keywords in your head. Don't cheat and look at the answer because that defeats the point. And try to keep track of what you have and haven't remembered. So you could use a box system like the Leitner system, but even just having 2 piles of cards I know the answers to and cards I'm less secure with is a really good idea. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you're now feeling more confident about using flashcards in your revision. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more revision videos coming soon.